At ease. It's your boy Soul Immortal. First off, real quick, man, I just want to say thank you for all those who have subscribed. I know a few days ago I hit 40,000 subscribers, and I just want to say I really appreciate it. Second, I want to say take time out to go check out the IG page. Instagram is up and running. A few of you have subscribed already. There'll be some content on there, so feel free to go check that out. And third, I want to mention that the website is up and running. For anyone that has questions, that wants to talk about certain things, feel free to go to www.immortalminds.com, right? Now, for this video, man, I'm going to step off the grid just for a little bit. And before I start, I have to put this disclaimer out there. In no way, shape, form, or fashion am I making this video to bash black women. That's one thing that I can easily say that I've never done, and something that I'll never do. Normally when I talk about issues with women, it's pretty much a blanket conversation. But this video is going to be a bit different. So a few days ago, I received an email from a brother that had a video request. Now the brother's email, he talked about his recent relationship, his recent breakup with a sister. He talked about relationships that he had in the past with black women. And I could tell that the brother was coming from an angry place. You know, I went on to read his letter, and he talked about he wanted his video to be about pretty much just bashing black women, talking about the certain things they do, the certain traits they have, and whatnot. So, you know, understanding where the brother was coming from, I told the brother, give me a call. And the things that we talked about are the things that I want to talk about in this video. Today, men, we're going to talk about the destruction of the black woman, the cause, and the remedy. Let's talk about it. Now, I've dated women of different races. I've dated women from a variety of different backgrounds. And I can easily say that when it comes to my sisters, there are a few challenges that come with it. You know, but first let me say that when it comes to just raw attraction for me, you know, it hands down goes to the black woman. You know, when I think about the texture of a black woman's hair, when I think about the variety of bronzes that her skin comes in, when I think about, you know, how nail polish pops against that chocolate skin, it hands down goes to the black woman as far as just attraction for me. But there's a downside to that, man. And that downside is that there's a narrative that comes with the far majority of black women. And when I say there's a narrative, this is what I mean. There are two issues that you're gonna just have to deal with when it comes to a large percentage of black women, right? One is this: several black women that you encounter are gonna have had a child at a very young age by a guy that's no longer in the picture. You know what I mean? They got with the wannabe thug back in the days, 19, 21, 22, and for the next several years, the guy just left. So you're gonna be dealing with a woman that's a single mother that's raising a kid pretty much by herself, with no help from the other half, right? That's one. That's common. And two, she's gonna be obsessed with thug culture and ratchery. Now, when I mention these two things, I'm not talking about your Bonquishas and your Respucia. I'm not talking about your bottom level chicks. I'm talking about the black women that you encounter that are just some bad chicks walking up and down the street. No, these are your normal black chicks. These are two things that you're gonna pretty much have to deal with when you're dating a black woman. Like I said, not all, but a huge percentage of it. And when I say thug culture and ratchery, this is what I mean. I mean, just look at the content that the black woman consistently absorbs. I'm talking about the powers, the empires. When I talk about ratchery, I'm talking about the Atlanta Housewives, the hip hop of LA's or whatever it is. This is the content that the black woman consistently absorbs, and she becomes that. Look at the scandals. You know what I mean? Our black women are obsessed with becoming second fiddle, you know, or some side chick to some other man, and you can see it in the everyday life of the black woman. Now, when it comes to, you know, dating black women, or just when it comes to black women in general, this is something else I've noticed. Out of all the women I've dated, the black woman is the only woman that will go to the bottom of the pool to find a man sometimes. In other words, the black woman commonly will take a man in. This man won't have a job. She'll clothe him. She'll feed him. You know, she'll go broke for him, all while this guy sits on the couch, you know, playing PlayStation and whatever he does all day. The black woman is known for that. That's common in our community. You know, it's almost like the black woman practices reverse hypergamy. You know what I mean? I know black women, man, with master's degrees, with some solid careers, foreign cars, own their own homes, beautiful women, and they'll just go to the bottom of the bottom to find their men. Why is this? So what's the cause of the destruction of the black woman? Now, most of you men won't remember this, especially you guys that are up under 40 years old, right? But there was a point in time where the thug was frowned upon by women. There was a point in time where the Pookies and the Ray Rays, like we like to call them, got absolutely no play from the black woman. I remember, man, when I was young, I used to go to house parties with my older sister, man. She would let me hang out with her. You know, I would go to parties with her. I would go to the skating ring. And God, I'm telling you, it was a completely different culture than what we live in right now. The guys that women were drawn to, the guys that had all the women, were the clean cut guys, the guys with shirts tucked in, the guys that could come to a party and break dance, the guys that could dance in groups, man. You know, it was a different culture. You know, instead of brothers walking around in fitteds and pants sagging, brothers walked around in shiny shoes and polka dot shirts. That was the culture. Those were the cool guys. Those were the guys that had all the women. So you ask yourself, well, if this how it was, you know, if there was a point in time where women were attracted to, you know, clean cut, upstanding guys, then what happened? Like why did things switch gears? To figure this out, man, you have to look no further than the studies of Dr. Masaru Emoto. Now back a while back, Dr. Emoto conducted what was called then the water experience, but now most people refer to the rice experiment. And I'll be sure to leave links below to check those videos out. So what Dr. Emoto figured out, or rediscovered, I'll say, is the effect that vibrations, words, and environments had on water, right? So what he did, he would take water and place it in rooms with different types of music. He would speak different words to it, and then he would freeze it. And once it was frozen, he would look at it through a microscope, and he could see that the properties of this water had changed, that the makeup of this water has changed. And he did the same thing on the negative side and saw changes there as well. But where the experiment came more evident is when people started using rice behind it. So there are several experiments on the web you can see, and again I'll leave a link. But there are where people will take rice and they'll put rice in one bowl or one jar, and they'll write all these good words on it like love and whatnot, and they'll speak to that rice every day. Good things, positive thoughts. And they'll take another similar jar of rice and write words like hate on it and bad vibes on it, and they'll just speak negative vibes and negative thoughts to this jar at the same time. Now both of these jars are in the same environment, and what you'll figure out is that after so many days, one of these jars will remain, in a healthy state, where this negative jar, it'll just start molding up on it. So you can use this experiment to see the power of words and thoughts, right? So why am I telling you this? What does the rice experiment, what does the effects of water have to do with the destruction of the black woman? I'll tell you, brothers. Now, I could say several things about the black woman, but one thing that I would have to include is that the black woman has always followed suit behind the black man. Now y'all can buy all this independent woman hoopla, all this strong black chick. Y'all can buy that if you want to, but the black woman is always step by step behind the black man. I mean, look back in history. Look at the Nat Turners of the world. For every Nat Turner, there was a Harriet Tubman. Think about the Huey Newtons of the world. For every Huey Newton, there was an Angela Davis. You know what I'm saying? Now, I can remember, the issues that we're having, between black men and black women nowadays. I'm telling you, these problems haven't always existed. I can remember in the 80s, back when I was in the middle school, man, black love was a completely different creature than what it is now. I remember back then, black people were different. I remember being in middle school and everybody had the African medallions, man, and everybody was proud to be black and everybody was promoting healthiness to the culture. But I remember between 88 and 91, those medallions that everybody used to wear went from being signals, signs of Africa, to being emblems of guns hanging from around everybody's neck. Now I can tell you the exact moment in time when things changed. Now, as big of a fan as I was and still am of your Ice Cubes and your Luke Skywalkers, guys, I'm telling you, groups like NWA, groups like 2 Live Crew, man, they were poison to the black woman. They were poison to the black culture, to the community. I mean, movies like Menace to Society, Boys in the Hood. Guys, as exciting as those movies were when they came out, as good as it felt to see, black producers putting movies on the big screen and all that stuff, man, I'm telling you, it was poison to the black community, and it was poison to black women, to black men and women. I mean, you had brothers putting up the polka dot shirts, going out getting the dickies. It was almost like overnight, everybody went to OG status. And what happened, you had the women of the world falling in love with this fake, with this pseudo masculinity. You know what I'm saying? And the reason I call it fake is because it was. You know what I'm saying? I spent 2 tours in the desert, guys, and I can tell you, I can look in the eyes of a man and tell you if he's a killer or not. And I can tell you that most guys that were on the street back in the days with the hat to the back thinking they were OGs, I can tell you that most of the young boys that are on the street right now, guys, these guys ain't no G's. These guys aren't murderers. These guys aren't about that life. You know what I'm saying? So when the brother asked me why I can't make videos bashing black women for being in their current state, my answer is this. It's because I can't. And the reason that I can't is because I'm the one that put them there. We're the one that put them there. And we're still doing it. For example, As big of a fan as I am of Spike Lee, you know, his last movie, Black Klansman, was a classic, epic movie. As big of a fan as I am of Brother Spike, you know, I have to look at movies that he's made like She's Gotta Have It. I'm telling you, She's Gotta Have It, Nola Darling, or whatever her name was, guys, it's poison to our black women. I mean, you have black women out here thinking that it's normal to have 3 or 4 brothers sleeping with them at the same time. This is poison to our culture, guys. I mean, many of us see that as just forms of entertainment, and most of us, or a lot of us, are mature enough to view it as that. But the far majority of people that watch shows like that, guys, they're absorbing it. It's becoming their life. It's becoming a norm. It's becoming acceptable. All I'm saying is this, and this is going to piss a whole lot of brothers off, I already know. But all I'm saying is this. At some point in time, we as black men are going to have to take full responsibility of everything and everyone inside the black community. And we're going to have to say that either we created or we allow our women to get a certain way. And this, let me break it down a little further. Let's go just a tad bit deeper to show you what I'm trying to say. Let's picture a segregated city, right? A segregated, peaceful city, right? So you have the Asian community on one side. You have the white community, the black community, the Hispanic community. Everyone's segregated. Everyone's living on their own plot of land, right? So you look over at the Asian community and you say, oh man, you know, look at the Asian women. They're so submissive. They're taking care of their man. They're doing this. Oh, look over at the Hispanic community. Look how the women are doing this. Look how everybody's behaving. And then you look at the black community and you say, oh, well, damn, look at all the women having multiple baby daddies. Look at all the women twerking in the street. Look at the women speaking a certain way, acting a certain way. And picture us as black men turning around to our black women saying, y'all are jacked up, blah, 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 blah. Y'all are doing this. Guys, think about how that would look. All the other men are holding their women to a certain standard, but our women are out of control and we're pointing the blame to them. It's the exact scenario that I used when I said that I was in the military. You know what I mean? When I had my soldiers, you know, if one of my soldiers was messed up, you know, if the first sergeant came and said, hey, you know what, this situation is messed up because that private ain't doing this stuff. That first sergeant don't need to get on that private's ass. He needs to dig in my ass, because if I'm in charge, then I'm responsible for everybody in it. If it's messed up, it's because it's my fault. And guys, I'm telling you, if we're saying that we're mean, if we're saying that we're running this show, then we're going to have to take full responsibility for everything to get it right. And this is how I know this to be a fact, right? You can come to any of my family functions. You can come to my family reunion. You can come to our Thanksgiving parties, anything. And you will see that all the women conduct themselves in a certain manner. I'm talking about up to my aunts, down to my nieces. All women know that they have to conduct themselves a certain way, and it's only because the way the men are made up in my family. You know what I'm saying? I can walk in a room with my aunts. Now, of course, I respect my aunts to the fullest for who they are, you know, nothing but respect. But just because I'm the man that I am, there are certain things that even my aunts won't say or do if I'm in the room. That there are certain things that they just won't even discuss if I'm in a room, because they have that much respect for the men in our family and they conduct themselves accordingly. Even my nieces, man. Now I have some beautiful nieces. All of my nieces, guys, could be one of those women on Instagram with the thousands of followers and the old school man wanting to send them trips to California and Florida left to right. All my nieces are that bad. But my nieces know that in our family, we don't conduct ourselves like that because we hold them to a standard. Prime example, my oldest niece, Chelsea, right? Matter of fact, shout out to Chelsea. She just graduated from Sam Houston this past weekend, got a degree. Congratulations to my niece. But my niece Chelsea, right? I remember when Chelsea was about 3 or 4 years old. You know, she was talking and she was moving around pretty good. And I remember when her mom, which is my sister, told her to do something, and she had some kind of little smart remark like no or yeah or some kind of little quick snappy remark. And before my sister could even check her, I stepped in, I pulled my niece to the side, and I was like, hey, we don't do that. You address your mother like this. You know, this is how we conduct ourselves. And if you look at all my nieces now, they all conduct themselves with respect. And that's what the black community is lacking. It's lacking men it's lacking the men holding women to a certain standard. And that's why the black woman is in her current condition. So what's the remedy? Before we even discuss the remedy, you know, I just want to reiterate that in no way, shape, form, or fashion am I taking responsibility off of these sisters. You know what I'm saying? I mean, these women are grown that we're dealing with today. And I'll admit, our women can be some of the most ratchet, you know, some of the most, you know, poor decision-making people in society. That's just a fact. You know what I'm saying? But when you look at the issues that have put all women in a certain state, you know what I mean? I'm talking about, you know, feminism and the laws, of course, right? When you look at that, and when you look at the effects that we've talked about, you know, women having multiple sexual partners and how that plays its part with women and their mindsets. So when you take those two things and you compound the content, you know, the movies, the media that we've pumped down the sisters' throat for the last 20 or 30 years, you can kind of get an understanding on what we've created. You know what I'm saying? When you talk about women as a whole, you know, we can address it a certain way. But when you talk about the black woman, guys, in my opinion, you have to look at this from a place of spiritual warfare. You know what I'm saying? Our women, in my opinion, for the most part, are in left field. They're too far gone. You know what I mean? The majority of our women need some kind of spiritual intervention to get right. You know what I'm saying? So when you're out and about, man, you know, you're trying to meet women or whatever you're trying to do, if you come across a black woman and she's not into some kind of form of meditation or some kind of form of spiritual enlightenment or some kind of form of Reiki or something, guys, you know, it's a good chance that woman is still going to be a lost cause if she was one of the ones that were falling. You know what I'm saying? So in a nutshell, I think the remedy to get the black woman to where she needs to be is two parts. One, the black man, we're going to have to lead by example. And what I mean by that is, you know, these ratchet, these thotty women that are out there doing what they do, we got to stop giving these women attention. Because what's happening, you have these good, and I've seen this for several years, you have these good women that are trying to do good things, which is far and few right now, but they want to do the right thing, but men are glorifying the twerkers. Men are glorifying, you know, the women that are doing ratchery. You know what I'm saying? These are the women that we're putting in videos. These are the women that we're putting on a pedestal as black men. So all black women are doing or have been doing for the last 2 decades is trying to get in where they fit in. You know what I'm saying? So that's one. The second thing is that women are going to have to seek some form of alternative spirituality. They're going to have to find knowledge of self to regain what they lost. You know what I'm saying? I have a good friend. Her name is Ra. Man, she practices Reiki and a few other things. Man, she's sharp. She's helped, man, I don't know how many women. And I'm going to be sure to leave her link down below for any of you women that are watching that are trying to get out of that that funk, they're trying to get out of that spell that you're in as a black woman, please check her website out and try to better yourself. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I think the remedy is. In conclusion, all I want to say is that, you know, as a black man, you know, seeing static between the black man and the black woman, it saddens me. I'm not gonna lie. Because we are the only people that are online going head to head with each other. You know what I'm saying? You don't see the Elizabeths and the Chads going back and forth with each other, bashing. You know what I'm saying? You don't see it. You don't see the Guadalupes and the Jorges going back and forth online, just bashing each other. Millions of people watching. But you can take the Marcuses and the Keishas and just find so much content on black men saying that, you know, black women ain't this, and vice versa. And I'm not gonna lie, it saddens me. You know what I'm saying? You know, as black men, you know, we have to be more solution based when it comes to our black women. Yeah, a lot of them are in left field. Yeah, a lot of them are ratchet as hell. But as men, we're going to have to take full responsibility to get it right. You know what I'm saying? But because if we don't, by the time our sons and our grandsons get to the level, get to the age where, you know, they're interacting with women, you know, there won't even be a such thing as black love anymore, or black women and men even interacting. There'll be so much hate and animosity, it won't even exist. But again, I know this video is not going to be what a lot of you want to hear, but again, it's one of those iron sharper than iron type conversations, guys. You know, I'm interested to get your feedback on in the comment section on what you think the problem is with the black woman, or what you think the cause was on the destruction of the black woman. And ultimately, I would love for you guys to put your input on the solution. You know what I'm saying? It's your boy Immortal, and I'm out.